Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. And I've been talking to you this week about Zephaniah, the prophet, 6th century BC, who spoke out during the reign of Josiah, who was a good king trying to straighten Israel out. And if you know anything about history and the people of Israel, they did great things, they did lousy things, and they did great things, and they did lousy things. And they just went up and down like a yo-yo. It's hard to do the right thing all the time. And as you and I have both know, circumstances can really make it difficult to do the right thing. And so in chapter 3, Zephaniah speaks about how God is going to reach out and punish those who are in rebellion to him. And after he finishes all of that ranting through the first 8 verses of the chapter, we get to verse 9, which is what I'd like to read 9 to 12 today. Here's what it says. So then, after I've done all of the punishments and the whatever else you want to call it that God's doing to try to get people straight, then I will purify the speech of all people so that everyone can worship the Lord together. My scattered people who live beyond the rivers of Ethiopia will come to present their offerings. On that day, you will no longer need to be ashamed, for you will no longer be rebels against me. I will remove all proud and arrogant people from among you. There will be no more haughtiness on my holy mountain. Those who are left will be lowly and humble, for it is they who trust in the name of the Lord. Okay, a couple of things here that I think are worth visiting about. The first one is where he says, I will purify the speech of all people so that everyone can come and worship the Lord together. Everyone. Well, who's everyone? Well, it's everyone. You see, God doesn't want anybody left out. He doesn't want you left out. He doesn't want me left out. He doesn't want the gal down the road who lives a very ungodly life left out. He doesn't want the worst person you can think of to be left out. Why is that? Well, I, I can only say it's because God is really a loving, caring God. The Garden of Eden in the beginning tells us what God wanted from man and woman. He wanted fellowship with them. And even though here in this passage in Zephaniah, he talks about how ungodly Israel has been, he says, afterwards, I'm still going to purify the speech of all people so that everyone can come and worship with me. Now, when he says all people here, he doesn't mean just the people of Israel. He includes all of us. He says, my scattered people who live beyond the rivers of Ethiopia will come. People who are wherever they are in the spectrum of life. If you are far from God, well, he wants you to be close to him. If you are in rebellion against God, well, he wants you to be close to him. And so he says, I'm going to allow everyone, even those so far away. He says, for on that day, you will no longer need to be ashamed. Ashamed of what? Well, the context here is ashamed for having not followed God. I think, it's just me thinking. You can think something different, I guess. Of course you can. I think that most people know what's right and know what they should or they should not do. I think most people want to do the right thing in their lives. They want to be known for being outstanding, upright folks. Now, yes, there are some who don't. I don't understand that. That's foreign to my way of thinking. But it's not very many. The problem is, even though we want that, we don't live up to it. Try as hard as we might, we keep messing up. So this passage tells us that God wants all of us, even those way out elsewhere, to not have to be ashamed, to no longer wonder whether they're walking with God. It says, no longer be rebels. If you're not following God, this passage says you are a rebel. Now, rebel here doesn't mean someone who breaks the norms. This means someone who absolutely, arrogantly doesn't follow the right thing. And I don't think you want to be like that. I don't think most of you probably are like that. I certainly don't want to be like that. He goes on to say that those on the left who are lowly and humble, they will trust in the name of the Lord. The ultimate outcome here is that people will trust God because He allows the possibility for that to happen. Even if you haven't done that much in your life up to this point. And so today I want you to think about yourself. Don't worry about the guy down the road. I mean, come on. He's going to be whoever he is. And what he's like does not define what you ought to be like or what you can be like. What somebody else does doesn't impact on you unless you allow it. Here's what God is saying. He wants to purify the speech of everyone so everyone can worship Him. And that includes you and me. So I'll leave you with the question. Are you worshiping God today? You know the answer. I don't have to. Your answer is about you. I just have to check on myself. So I invite you today to check on yourself. Are you worshiping God? Well, thanks for listening. If you have a need or a concern, let us know. We'll do whatever we can, just as fast as we can, to help meet your need. I'll be back tomorrow. I got 2 more times to talk about Zephaniah. He's still got some really good stuff to say. So thanks for listening. Have a great and wonderful, fantastic day, and I'll be back again.